You're listening to the PRO Media Network, the next level in entertainment.
Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
For all things Pelicans, you're now tuned in to the Pelican Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network. What's up, family? What's going on? I'm Big Q chiming with you on this Pelican Postgame Report. It's another fantastic Friday afternoon. Time for some Pelican talk. I'm Big Q chiming in. We're going to bring my key contributor in here, Mr. DC chiming in. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing pretty good, brother. How you doing?
Doing good, my friend. Good to hear you on the Pelican Postgame Report. And a lot of stuff to talk about, man. Big ups to the family joining us. Teal, my dog Teal in the building. GM Kev in the building. What up, family? Thank you all for joining us on this edition of Sports, the Pelican Postgame Report. And a lot to talk about with dealing with the Pelicans, DC, man. Lonzo Ball, we're going to talk about him switching agents. We also have a little Zion Williamson news we're going to get into. The top story, though, DC, is the rumors all circulating around Jrue Holiday. You know, what's going on with that? Several different big name teams and all type of deals, and we're going to go through each one of these at a time. And then, of course, we're going to also talk about who they're saying. A very interesting article from the Pelican Debrief that is recommending and telling the Pelican Nation who is leading their head coaching search. And let me tell you, I don't like it one damn bit. But anyway, we're going to get to the top story on this version of the Pelican Postgame Report. DC, let's get into the top story with the rumors circulating around Pelican two guard Jrue Holiday. You know, let's look at these each one. Now, we had Golden State. We had the Brooklyn, the Golden State, you know, somebody threw Philly in there, the Timberwolves. Let's take these one at a time. You pick the first one. Let's start with Golden State. Tell us about what you're hearing about the Golden State rumors.
Yeah, man, there's all this stuff saying Golden State is looking at Jrue Holiday because I guess it's looking like they're not going to be able to get Giannis. And they dangling that number 2 pick around as if I guess that's enough to get him. I don't really see what they have that we're going to want. I mean, what are you going to send us? Do we really want Andrew Wiggins and the number 2 pick? Would that make us a better team? I don't know, man. I mean, I think it's some things we could do with it, but that's pretty much what I'm looking at as far as them doing. But everybody know that Golden State is a major player in the trade market right now. I mean, they're trying to get back to championship contention. They don't want to get a young player to come in there and trying to mold up and help bring along and bring off the bench and teach their system and all that. They want somebody that they can plug in right now and pretty much compete at a high level as what they're used to doing with Steph Curry coming back, you know, and Klay Thompson coming off of his injury. So somebody else who could carry the load, especially defensively. And I think Jrue Holiday would be that guy. So he's somebody to me everybody would want, but there's a lot of rumors about him in Golden State, man. And I mean, Jrue is from that area, UCLA. He was out there playing in college. So I don't know, man. I'm not really liking it. I like Jrue. I think we should hold on to him. So hearing a lot of this is a little perplexing for me, but I mean, you know, as Pelicans ride or die, the front office is going to have to do what's best for the team. So as they say, where there's smoke, there could be fire, man.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because if the Golden State trade is interesting because if you do trade Jrue Holiday to Golden State, you know, getting Wiggins, he would then the lineup would look like this. We use our imaginations for a second. Zobal would be number 1. Number 2 would be Wiggins. Number 3 would be Ingram. Number 4 would be Zion, and number 5 would be the overall second round draft pick that they currently own, which
Wiseman.
will turn into Wiseman. So Wiseman, just think about that. You have Ball, Wiggins, Ingram, Williamson, and Wiseman. Wow.
What if they go another direction, Big Q?
Okay, let's walk that through. What do you mean?
What if they take that number 2 pick and decide to pair Lonzo Ball with his brother and LaMelo Ball and flip Andrew Wiggins for, I don't know, something else?
I don't.
How would that look? What if they could flip Andrew Wiggins for a pick or for another big? I mean, we do have Jackson Hayes. You kind of just need a guy to come in and man the fort till he could get it together, because he still got some rebuilding to do. But Lonzo Ball, Anthony Edwards, and Wiseman, in my opinion, in this draft are the 3 best players. They have the ability to be special. And also your guy, Obi Toppin.
Yep.
He's another one. If they even took him at number 2, that still would look pretty damn good, man.
That's a little high for Obi to go there, but he is definitely a very interesting player, man.
He's going to be
a baller.
the third, fourth guy off the board, man. He's got to be.
I'd probably say 4th. He's either 4 or 5 off the board, but they're the top 3 definite work of arts, people that's ready to come in and contribute right away are definitely Edwards, and then you have Wiseman and Ball. Now, to address what you just said about teaming Ball with Ball, that's absolutely not going to happen. You know,
why don't you think that could happen?
I think that's it's not going to happen because of the obvious fact that who would you put at the 1? Who plays the 1 in that scenario?
Again, I'm gonna tell you, like Jalen Rose told Skip Bayless.
Hold on, just tell me how the lineup looks before you go into Skip Bayless breakdown.
I ain't going into Skip Bayless. I said what Jalen Rose told Skip Bayless. Positions don't matter. Positions are only for people who don't play basketball. And
Jalen Rose is a moron, man.
About
how many rings does Jalen Rose have?
Yeah, no comment. He went into that whole spell to basically say, just because a guy is labeled a shooting guard or just because a guy is labeled a point guard doesn't mean that's actually what they're going to be doing. We know the positions can vary, but
what is the guy actually good at is what the real question is.
Right.
That's what they're good
at is what they're going to do.
Trying to force a square peg in a round hole. That's what Jalen Rose is saying.
Lonzo Ball and LaMelo Ball, to me, by them being brothers, I think will have a natural synergy to the way they play and whatever you want to label the position. I mean, obviously Lonzo's going to be point guard, and his brother probably would be labeled the shooting guard, but LaMelo is a scorer.
Absolutely not. I'm totally against that one, DC. I know the kid's 6'7", 6'8", somewhere along in there, and Zoe is 6'6".
He might not even start, man. I mean, they might have what's the other kid we got, man?
NAW.
They might have NAW start. NAW might make a stride. He might start, and LaMelo might kind of be the guy off the bench, and you can see a 3-guard rotation towards the end of the game, like a lot of people are doing. But in our 3-guard rotation, if this hypothetical did carry out, in our 3-guard rotation, everybody's like 6'5" and up. They ain't really no little guys. LaMelo's like 6'8", 6'7", 6'8". You know, NAW's 6'5", Lonzo's 6'6". So you talking about having a 3-guard rotation and everybody big, kind of. So there's no lack in size unless you're gonna run Zion at the 5 and Ingram at the 4. You're giving up some space with Zion out there. So just something to think about, hypothetical. Probably ain't going to happen. I wouldn't pull the trigger on it.
No.
But it is something interesting to think about. And if they did do it, I don't think it would be the worst move that we could do. But I say hold on to Jrue Holiday because of his veteran leadership, his command and what he does off the court, far as his personality, him willing to do the dirty work, he's a make it happen guy, kind of put the work in, man. I think it's a lot to be said for someone like that. And he's produced at a high level for a long time. And I think Jrue Holiday is the type of player that could be playing at 35, 36 and still giving you 15, 6, and 5. You know what I'm saying? At 35 years old. That's how he looks to me. So I say keep Jrue, man. Let him kind of stay with this group as he stated he wants to do. And as he, you know, decreases a little bit, his role would decrease a little bit and cut his minutes back. And you have a guy like NAW that he should be training up. Or if we retain Frank Jackson, which I still think he has potential as well.
I still, I mean, I'm totally against the ball brother combination because Lamelo to me is this other ball kid is just. I mean, he definitely could score the ball. He could pass, but he's suspect defensively. He's working on that. But I anticipate
he got a lot better in the NBL, Big Q, if you follow.
Yeah, I've been checking him out. I've been checking him out defensively.
I mean, he made huge strides defensively. I just think I don't think he liked playing defense. That's what I think it is.
Well, that's the thing.
Think
you know,
it's like Carmelo Anthony, you know.
If you would even much consider that move, you know, I think out of all these potential or rumored drafts, rumors around trading him, Jrue Holiday, Golden State Warriors offering the top pick. Then you also have Minnesota. Talk to us about what's going on with Minnesota.
Well, Minnesota basically ain't got nothing. All they have to offer. Well, you know they're not trying to come up off Big Cat for Jrue Holiday, man. That's going backwards. You know. Then you were like, well, they got D'Angelo Russell. Well, D'Angelo Russell and Big Cat are like best friends, so probably not gonna want to do that. So it's like, okay, well, what else does Minnesota have? Minnesota has a guy that was drafted, 4th or 5th in Jarrett Culver. They have Malik Beasley, somebody you probably could get out of them, both of those guys. And the number 1 pick. That's pretty much what you're looking at. So you back to your Wiseman, because, I mean, if you get Jarrett Culver, you're not going to take LaMelo Ball or Anthony Edwards, which is the other guy we didn't even mention with the number 2 pick, assuming he goes number 1 when we were talking about the Warriors thing to Minnesota. So you also have that guy, Anthony Edwards, which to me is a lot like Jrue Holiday or Dwayne Wade, kind of. He just don't have that 3-point shot yet. But I think Anthony Edwards probably be a phenomenal player. But still, my thing is for the Pelicans, with us being such a young team, do we want like another number 1 pick? Like I think the chemistry thing is something you always have to think of. And all the teams I saw be successful, it was always an interesting mix of veterans and young players. And if you go back to even the Oklahoma City Thunder team, they couldn't do it, man, until they got older. And all those guys grew together. But if they would have had a mixture of veterans in there with them, do you think OKC maybe could have beat LeBron them or went further earlier?
Or maybe if you'd have had Billy Donovan there. I mean, it just I think a better coaching than what they had there, which was Steve. What's his name? Steve. What was his name? The coach that they had at. He's the coach of the Washington.
Wasn't it Scott Skiles?
Not Scott Skiles. It
wasn't Scott Skiles.
No, this guy Scott Brooks.
Brooks. Yeah.
So you had Brooks was there, and he was just getting there. He was learning the ropes as well. But I think a better coach would have helped them out. But could it be? That's an interesting scenario as well. So like, say for instance, they give up the 1st round overall pick for Jrue Holiday, and then they picked up a guy like Edwards out of Georgia to come in and be the 2 guard there. And you got to have a coach who knows how to make those pieces work, and that's the grand scheme of things. It's like, and if you're considering trading Jrue Holiday, where there's smoke, there's fire. If it's one thing, you talk about one team, but then
it's a laundry list of them.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Where there's a smoke, there's fire. Like, okay, this is just rumored. No, there are several teams all around this thing. Golden State's jumping in here. We just talk about Minnesota, DC. What about Brooklyn and Philadelphia? Those are the other couple of teams, and there are
Wow.
other. There's New York. New York's now. I seen a
You
rumor
can
report
X
on
you
them
can
as
X New
well.
York off the list, man. Nobody don't want Kevin Knox in the number 8 pick. Like New York ain't got nothing. What y'all gonna give us, RJ Barrett? If they talking RJ Barrett, then we might have to talk because we know that's Zion partner. You know, we might have to talk if they talking RJ Barrett in that number 8 pick. But anything outside of that with New York, I mean, it ain't even worth talking about. Big Q. What they gonna give us? Julius Randle, somebody we already had. Like, I mean, what are they gonna give us? They ain't got nothing. Got nothing. I don't want Kevin Knox. Zion pretty much ended the rest of his career as it was tumbling in the summer league. He ain't done nothing since Zion took the ball away from him. So I don't. The New York Knicks, that's out. But very interesting to me, which I think is probably the biggest two. What we opened with, which is Golden State, and then what you're looking at with Brooklyn. This Brooklyn situation, for anybody that want Jrue Holiday to stay here, scares me because you're talking about giving up Spencer Dinwiddie and Jared Allen for Jrue Holiday. I like Spencer Dinwiddie. Spencer Dinwiddie is a damn good player.
Yeah.
He's only 27. He's a guy, I wouldn't call him a superstar, but he's somebody that could be an all-star.
He's like
he could
he's
be
a
an
glue
all-star.
guy. He's a glue guy. He's the piece off the bench. Comes in to fill in if
He could
somebody's
be a point guard. He could be shooting guard.
He can help out at
Right,
the three.
right.
Mm-hmm.
My only knock on Spencer Dinwiddie, for what you give up, and Jrue Holiday, you lose all that defense. But I would say he's maybe a tad better offensively, all around the board. Not leaps and bounds, but he's a little better offensively with Jrue Holiday, but he's way worse defensively. I mean, it's almost like a night and day difference what you get defensively. But to balance that off, Brooklyn would throw in Jared Allen, that's pretty much all he does is play defense and get rebounds. You're talking about somebody who's going to give you almost 2 blocks a game, probably about 10 or 12 rebounds, somewhere around there a game, basically a double-double machine. And they also adding in Musa. I don't know a lot about Musa. Big Q, you know anything about him?
He's an off the bench guy, energy guy, man. He's not a bad player. He'll be a good bench asset for you.
Sheik Diallo type player?
I guess you could put him in
different energy.
Well, a little bit more aggressive, kind of aggressive there, and every now and again knock a shot down for you. He's an interesting player, man. It's a good throwing. I wouldn't be mad about having Musa on your bench. I wouldn't be upset about that.
Right, and there's possibly a protected first round pick with all of that, And he's like, well, why does this scare you? Well, this one scares me because Spencer Dinwiddie actually replied to this on his Twitter. He said, I like the news cycle better yesterday. And he's got like a frowny face. So, I mean, NBA players don't usually
respond to that type of stuff.
Responding to this type of stuff. So and then you got to know we got the connection with Trajan Langdon and the Nets. Like, he came from over there. I'm sure he knows Spencer Dinwiddie. He knows his old roster. Could this be why Trajan Langdon was looking at a Sacramento job? Did him and David Griffin, because David Griffin said Jrue Holiday could be an MVP. And Trajan Langdon said, look, we need to trade this dude now. Mm-hmm. Could this been the split where Trajan Langdon was considering getting another GM job because this is what he wants to do? Possibly, man.
Possibly.
So, yeah. Maybe we're wrong about the whole coach thing we brought up, and it could be this. This could have been something that was big. But this is something that could possibly happen. Spencer Dinwiddie, he needs a new deal after this year. So does Jared Allen. So does Jrue Holiday. So at the very least, we would have a protected first-round pick. Let's say we don't sign either one of them. as well as I don't know what Moose's deal is, but obviously we would re-sign one of them,
right? Well, I mean,
at the very least.
You're gonna throw him in there anywhere. Now, like I say, he's an energy guy. I pull up I pull up his statistics, and he's not, like I say, you can look for a 3-point shot out of him, but his career 3-point percentage is what he shot. I'm looking at it, 24%.
Right.
And just a little less than 25% last year. So that's not great, but I've seen statistics on him. He, like I said, he can find his shot. He's still developing. There's still another piece, a young piece that can help you. I mean, he's 6'9", and like I said, he can help out there. So we'll see how it shakes. But it's interesting that you throw a guy like Jared Allen in there, he has like 1 year left on his contract. But he's the type of center you would definitely want to have there. But you got Jackson Hayes, who still have 3 or 4 years left on the current deal. So he has opportunity.
They're not too much for an age either.
Right.
But
Jared Allen is ready to go right now. He's ready to contribute in that role right now. Will they put the move on, a hammer on this move? Man, there are a lot of really interesting deals going on right now as far as the Pelicans concerned. And where there's smoke, there's fire. So as you can hear, the music's coming on. When we come back from the other side of the break, we'll finish up on the rumor mill with the Pelicans. We'll also cover some Zion Williamson news, some Zoe Ball news. We're also going to talk about who they're saying is leading the head coach race for the New Orleans Pelicans. We'll be back on the other side of the break. You listen to the Pelican post-game report on the PRO Media Network. Stick with us.
Remington Tax Solutions is a company that, together with their partners, provide virtual tax consultation and preparation for individuals, small business, and nonprofit. They also provide notary and a host of other business-related services for their clients. Their associates provide a systematic yet very client-centered approach to their services. They offer the industry knowledge and insight to help solve your most complex tax issues. At Remington, their currency is time, the one resource that cannot be replenished. For that reason, they utilize the simplest and most effective forms of technology to make their services faster and more efficient. No need to wait in the office until your taxes are completed. Simply upload your documents via the Taxes to Go app or via their client portal, and they'll take care of the rest. Remington Tax Solutions is a member of the National Association of Tax Professionals and participates in the IRS Annual Filing Season Program, which is a voluntary tax education program to stay abreast of the ongoing changes in tax legislation. Remington Tax Solutions has a strong connection to the communities in which they serve. It is a part of their mission to make a positive impact on the lives of their neighbors. So, if you're looking for a reliable, effective, and trustworthy tax preparation service, Remington Tax Solutions is the business for you. Contact Remington Tax Services at their number 682-307-4410 or simply go to remingtontax.com. That's remingtontax.com. Remington Tax Service, virtual tax preparation for the individual and small business.
Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
Embrace Pet Insurance is more than just pet insurance. Embrace Pet Insurance promises to provide genuine support and certainty when your pet needs it the most. With personalized accident and illness policies, compassionate customer care, 24/7 access to veterinary professionals, flexible wellness plans, timely claims processing, and online customer portals, their values is what makes them Embrace. So, when selecting a pet insurance company as a partner in your pet's care, you deserve a company that has your pet's best interests at heart. Get top rated and reviewed coverage for your pet today. Up to 90% back on bills at any vet, total protection, pet insurance and wellness, and dependable claims payments. Get the top rated and reviewed coverage for your pet today. Go to embracepetinsurance.com. That's embracepetinsurance.com. Check the link in the description section below.
Get all the latest news and updates from your New Orleans Pelicans at the Pelicans Eye View, the new and official Pelicans Daily Journal, covering everything Pelican. Attention, everyone. Get breakdown on games, free agent signings, and potential moves. Unbiased opinions and straight up facts with statistical analysis from G Valley. Go to www.thesportsdaily.com/Pelicans-I-View.
Are you a boxing fan? Check out Ring Kings Boxing only on the PRO Media Network.
Do you need a domain name? How about a host for your website that can work with WordPress? Try Namecheap.com. They make registering, hosting, and managing domain names for yourself or others easy and affordable because the internet needs people. Namecheap is an ICANN accredited domain register and technology company founded in 2000. It's one of the fastest growing American companies according to the 2018 Inc. 5000, celebrating nearly 2 decades of providing unparalleled levels of service, security, and support. Namecheap has been steadfast in customer satisfaction with over 10 million domains under management. Namecheap is among the top domain registrars and web providers in the world. They offer a full selection of popular and unique domains along with fully featured hosting packages, SSL security certificates, WhoisGuard privacy protections, and more, all at the lowest prices in the industry. So if you need a domain name or hosting or anything else, think Namecheap.com. That's right, Namecheap.com. Check the description section below for link.
There's a lot of reasons to be a fan, but only NBAstore.com has all the gear.
Are you a Pelicans fan? Check out the Pelican postgame report on the PRO Media Network.
You're listening to the Pelicans postgame report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
For all things Pelicans, you're now tuned into the Pelican post-game report on the PRO Media Network. Trade rumors, that's what we talking about on this show. Jrue Holiday, man, he's surrounded by them. And usually, you know how that old saying go, where there's smoke, there's fire. And there's a lot of smoke around Jrue. I'm going to tell you what. Big ups to GM Kev, Teal the Legend, Brian Pearson, Melanin God 504. Good to see you, John Thompson, and the rest of the family members in the building. Big ups to you. Melanin God says, I like the Nets trade if it happens. I can see Spencer at 5 along with Zion at 4. Lonzo should come off the bench. He's still with if he's still with the Pels. Thank you for that, Melanin God. Big ups to you. Appreciate you. And let's keep going at some of these trade rumors.
I got one question. They say Lonzo should come off the bench. I mean, who gonna be a shooting guard then?
Spencer.
Who gonna be the point guard? If Lonzo coming off the bench.
I think if I read that correctly, that Melanin God says if the trade happens, he says he likes Spencer at the 5, along with Zion at the 4. 5 means
he mean Allen at the 5.
Allen at the 5. Well, Spencer at the 1. Allen at the 5. Who at the 2?
Who at the 2?
NAW.
I'm not gonna start NAW over Lonzo Ball, man. I mean, we freaking out over the bubble thing, but if Lonzo Ball can be anything like he was in February and March, he's definitely somebody you want to start.
Okay, let's move on to the next one because the Nets, the 2 trades, if you're interested in something like that, the Nets are interesting. But you're looking at the fact that Jared Allen, how many years does he have? The 1 year left on that deal. So you're basically making a move for him for that 1 year. And I don't know how much a guy like Jared Allen will command on the open market. But should it be would you think it'll be in the same range as a guy like Derek Favors?
I think he could potentially command more than Derek Favors, depending on after this year, if the salary cap goes back up. Look at a guy like Clint Capella and Jared Allen. To me, they're like pretty much the same players. I think Clint Capella maybe runs the floor a little better.
That was max, though. He got more than what he actually is valued at, in my opinion.
Right, but Jared Allen should be around there. He got like $80 million. I
that's
think
like
Jared
your boy that used to be
70.
with Toronto, who went down to Orlando. What's his name? To Hornets. The guy that was shot blocking.
Oh my God!
Who got paid all that money?
It's Bismack.
Bismack Biyombo.
Oh man. Oh boy, that was a horrible deal for the Hornets. They still paying for that one. But Jared Allen's a lot better player than him. But I think he could get around 70 million, bro. 65 on the low end. But you look at a guy like Hassan Whiteside, what is he making, like $20 million this year?
Something like that. Between 17 to 20, I won't say. And he coming
Right.
off the bench for the Trailblazers.
But I mean, a big guy like that in his defense in spurts, because it depends on how the team plays. If they could shoot you out of there, then you could cancel a guy like that out, which is why you need a perimeter defender. But, nobody ain't going to be attacking the paint like that when he on the floor unless he in foul trouble. So you're paying for a post and a paint defense in one guy when you pay money for guys like that, because they kind of they cut off the paint in ways that very few players can. So that's really what you're paying for. And rebounding, which is securing extra possessions. And if you can secure extra possessions efficiently and effectively, that helps to cut down your turnovers also. So that's what you're paying for.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man, because one way or the other, the Pelicans still have to address the center position. Some people believe that the answer is Jackson Hayes, but we'll see on that, man. I like Jackson Hayes a lot. He has to gain a lot of weight and some muscle and get ready for that position and come back. I want to see what he looks like coming back next year into that position, gaining an extra weight, getting stronger there as well. So he's
under a real coach.
He's really too light, man, to be at that center position.
Yeah.
But let's look at the last rumor you were talking about, the ones that you made. What about the Sixers?
Well, the Sixers one is interesting, man. I don't know how much water that holds, because the stuff I'm seeing from the Sixers, they want Jrue Holiday as well as JJ Redick, and I find it interesting that JJ Redick came out and said this week and made it known that, hey, I came here because I wanted to play with Jrue Holiday. I don't think he's just saying that for nothing. So maybe he's kind of saying, like, if y'all get rid of Jrue Holiday, I don't want to be here no more. The Sixers want Jrue Holiday and JJ Redick. And there's two scenarios. I heard one outlandish scenario of Joel Embiid, us getting him, as well as giving up, our pick this year and a first-round pick in the future for Jrue Holiday and JJ Redick, and we get Joel Embiid, right? Mm-hmm. That's one scenario. The other scenario is like, why the hell would the Pelicans do that? I seen something with Jason Richardson and us taking on Al Horford's contract to give them Jrue Holiday. That don't sound too exciting to me. But the whole thing is about reuniting Jrue Holiday with Philadelphia and them trying to find a way to add pieces, around that star. So I don't know how probable this is. All of these things are rumors or articles being wrote. It just sounds crazy to me, the Philadelphia one, especially with Al Horford. I know you liked Al Horford, but I don't think he worth the remaining or whatever that is of that $109 million.
No, they definitely overpaid for Al Horford in the role. He didn't really help him in the playoffs, man. He didn't play his brand of basketball. But there are rumors circulating around the Sixers trying to send Al Horford to Sacramento for Buddy Hield. I don't see that happening. That's fairy tale talk, in my opinion. I mean, they would swallow that massive contract. Give up a promising piece like Buddy Hield? Absolutely not, in my opinion. But they got some stupid general managers. What incentive do they have to do that? Right. I don't understand. They're stuck with that deal unless they trade him somewhere and agree to pay half of his salary or whatever high it is. How they usually do some of these deals.
They got to give up a draft pick, man. They got to give up their best draft pick to get rid of that.
Yeah, and I don't see that happening, man. They're going to have to work on that. But Tobias Harris was a guy that they have, and they put a lot of money toward that roster, and now they kind of reformatting the team. They fired Brett Brown, and now they're looking for a president of basketball operations. So, I mean, there's several different things going on when the Sixers organization's out there.
It's a little dysfunction over there.
Right,
they should have kept Jimmy Butler and got rid of the coach. That's what they should have did.
They should have did that, right.
Should have kept the team they had and got a new coach and went back at it.
Yeah. Yep,
Shot
absolutely.
resign JJ Redick. You heard JJ Redick? He was like, he was all for going back to the Sixers. They didn't want to do that. So you got some idiots over there in the front office. So
Yeah.
anything short of us getting Joel Embiid straight up for Jrue Holiday, or let's say if they want to do Ben Simmons, I think we have to take a look at it. But no, I don't think nothing like that's gonna happen.
No, I don't. I think that's off limits. The key pieces that everybody want was the Joel Embiid and the Ben Simmons pieces are off. Everybody else is up for grabs in terms of what I'm seeing from it. But they won't retain the core of Embiid and Simmons and build around them, kind of resituate around them. These guys are still young, and they still want to be able to build around those guys. They think Jrue Holiday can help, but they don't have the pieces needed to even kind of gain the interest when you have Golden State throwing what they throwing, the Timberwolves throwing in what they throwing, and what Brooklyn throwing in what they throwing. They're definitely a joke piece, in my opinion, in probably out of all of the rumor mill talk. And there are other rumors situated around
There's
other
also
teams as well.
Heat's
There
rumors
you
too,
go. Let's
but
talk
as
about that
they
one.
won more, as the Heat won more, you hear less and less of this rumor. But we was hearing about this when Jrue was on the trade block during the season. They were talking about Tyler Hero, Kendrick Nunn, not Miles Leonard. What's the other guy? Leonard, the other Leonard, the center guy. Was
Myers.
talking about,
Myers Leonard, is that the dude you think?
Myers Leonard, a package like that. Also with am I missing someone? I saw Gordon Dragic, up there.
Absolutely not.
So they had a collection of pieces from Miami trying to pair him with Jimmy Butler. That was a thing for how long, Big Kid? That was almost a year we kept hearing that, right?
Mm-hmm.
We was hearing about the Miami connection even before Jimmy Butler went there, about them trying to get Jrue Holiday. So
yeah, they was looking at, and it was also circulating around what New Orleans was trying to do to get Goran Dragic, because they wanted to they were interested, well, Gentry was, in getting Goran Dragic for obvious reasons. He had him when he was in Phoenix to operate a style of offense, but they could never make the money where Goran Dragic's contract was, kind of expensive, and they couldn't get the pieces together. But yeah, there's always been talk circular between New Orleans and Miami.
yeah. So I mean, you got a lot of their young guys being successful. The only two untouchables probably would have been Abayo, and I would say Jimmy Butler. Anything outside of that, they probably would have been looking to deal, or that probably what the discussion was revolving around. So it's very interesting, man. There's also the Indiana connection with Jrue Holiday. Both of his brothers are there. There's always the back and forth with Miles Turner, who's probably a pretty decent shooter for a center from the three-point line. So that's like a big thing. There's the Denver Nugget connection. Everybody keeps trying to send us Gary Harris. It was Porter. Now that Porter's playing better, they're saying Bobo, which I find ironic, because if we really wanted Bobo, we could have drafted him like late in the second round. So obviously the Pelicans don't want Bobo. But, there's trade scenarios like that. And it's just really interesting, man. Interesting time of year. And everybody wants Jrue Holiday, Big Q. I'm trying to think of it's probably easier to think about teams that don't want him than do. I've even heard connections. Stephen A. even mentioned his name about the Clippers after their collapse, saying maybe they should or could be looking at trying to obtain somebody like Jrue Holiday and all of this, man. It's just crazy. It seems like Jrue Holiday is the number one trade candidate on the market right now.
Yeah, you ain't kidding, man. He's really hot right now, and I've never seen somebody, running after Jrue Holiday. Now, they had a few people wanting him, but a lot of people saying he fits with what they're doing. So we'll maintain it, but that's all the rumors we have for you guys.
One more thing.
Oh, you got another one?
I think it's got a lot. Well, not no more rumors, just I'm seeing a connection. You had so many players coming out speaking up for Jrue Holiday and talking about how good he is. When Kevin Durant came out and said that he was one of the hardest guys to defend him and he got a lot of respect for him, I don't think it's ironic all of a sudden now there's Brooklyn Nets trade rumors out there. So a lot of his peers love him and really will want to play with him. So I think that's his hotness got a lot to do with that. People in the NBA who actually know and not the spectators respect his game, even though a lot of Pelicans fans for a while used to give Jrue Holiday a hard time. I remember us when we first started doing this, and me and you were like some of the only people that were kind of sticking up for him a lot. Even me and you had some tips back and forth about Jrue Holiday, but it was mainly about the money and that big contract he
It was
signed.
more about the availability too. I mean, he was
Yeah.
missing games due to injuries, and that's what my main thing was about the availability. And I thought that they did initially overpay for him, and that was Dale Demps. He gave him a blank check, and Demps did that because he didn't secure the rest of the deals. The only really decent thing he did was securing Jrue Holiday because he failed everywhere else. You know, had he secured DeMarcus Cousins, Anthony Davis wouldn't have went anywhere. He would have read up with the Pelicans, and those guys would have been playing. And we would have seen something. We might have seen a deep playoff run. You never know. But that tilted this into the Zion Williamson era because of how Dale Demps did this. And then he had a last caveat to help him out. He could have traded AD after AD didn't want to come back. He could have sent him to the Lakers when Magic Johnson was there and got everything Magic Johnson was giving. I mean, everything Griffin had gotten from them, including Kyle Kuzma. He could have gotten Kyle Kuzma along with the pick. Then when Johnson was offering them, and what he did was he didn't call Magic back. And according to Magic, once he left, because that caused Magic's team to fall out, it caused Magic to step down from the Los Angeles Lakers. He got on ESPN and he said Dale Demps was the one that told everybody, leaked the information about the trade and destroyed the Lakers team. He did it purposefully. And, of course, Kendrick Perkins came on there and blew him down and said he's a liar, he's not to be trusted. Mm-hmm. And then it came out that people didn't really want to sign with the Pelicans because they didn't trust Dale Demps because he was seen as a snake. Well, Dale Demps was always a stupid man, in my opinion, and how he handled things, how he would draft guys and couldn't develop the guys here, then would bring the guy back like he did with Darius Miller, which they didn't end up too bad. But he did that with Brandon Bass. It was other players that did good here, and then you just let them go. You didn't secure their services. So he was a moron. He was an absolute
Jordan Crawford too.
Crawford,
he wasn't a great player, but I never could understand why we didn't keep Jordan Crawford, man. The guy was giving us like 14, 15 points off the bench.
Instant grits.
I don't know why he don't have a job till this day. And I remember there was this thing about him dunking on LeBron in one of those camps back in the G, and it was like all downhill from him after that.
All right, let's move on to the next story for the family here. We'll talk about Lonzo Ball next, family. Lonzo Ball, of course, a lot of people probably has been following the story that Lonzo Ball signed with Clutch Sports. That's right, he signed up with Clutch Sports. And he views this as a pivotal offseason, which he began with an important business decision. Ball signed with Rich Paul of Clutch Sports. He told ESPN, I wanted to lead my career. Ball told ESPN. Picking up my own representation just solely as my decision was step one in that process for me. It was an easy call, and it was the right time to make the call. Ball joins Clutch Sports after brief stints with Creative Artists Agency and Rock Nation. Weeks removed from a disappointing team showing NBA seeding in Orlando, Ball said he was beginning his off-season training regimen Monday, which included a 2-day session on basketball court and workouts in the weight room. Ball said his goal for next season is to make the playoffs and put himself in contention to follow in teammate Brandon Ingram's footsteps. He said, quote, once we get in the playoffs, we take it one game at a time. Ball said, for myself, I think most improved player is definitely something I can get next season, end quote. Now, DC, you heard the rest of this, what's going on. Signing with Clutch Sports, Rich Paul is leading his career. What is this a sign of about Zoe Ball? What do you think this is? What's going on here?
Oh, that's definitely a money play. I think more so than his contract, he's looking at endorsements and different things like that, moving from up under that Big Baller brand umbrella. Yep. His brother just signed a major deal with Puma. I think it's like $100 million. I know Lonzo Ball got to be looking at that. I think it was, Big Q. Let me try and pull it up. But I think he signed like $100 million deal with Puma.
I heard about the
that
deal. I
was,
just didn't know it was that much.
Let me see.
But no, you have to pull it up. I'll pull it up. Just keep breaking it down, bro.
But yeah. So he signed that deal, man, and you gotta think Lonzo had to be in his ear. Look, man, we did this. Woo, learn from my mistakes, the whole nine. And he's wondering, he was the number 2 pick. What if he would have went that direction when he was the number 2 pick instead of trying to do all of that? So I think he's trying to fix a lot of what he considers his wrongs and probably move on to that. And it was some, I think he's got a Lay's commercial or some type of commercial he mentioned, or some product. So he might even have inked the endorsement deal already. So I think he's looking at signing with Clutch as far as that and doing what he wants to do, because a lot of stuff about the Rock Nation signing, he did that because they signed, his other 2 brothers too, and they did it all as a group. So he's thinking independently and doing what's right for him and solely him. And I think that will help him be a better basketball player too, because that's a leadership move, and that's probably one of the biggest areas I think that's lacking in his game, is him taking fully command and leading the team as the point guard, as he should. So if he's taking this mentality off the court in his regular life, I think it can transition over onto the court. And for him to be the most improved player of the year, I don't think it's far-fetched for Lonzo to put up 17, 8 assists, and 7 rebounds. Depending on who else is in contention, that might be enough to get him the most improved player. So it's very possible, but I do like what I'm seeing from him. He's also been working out. They say as soon as the bubble and all that ended, he went straight into his workouts. And we all knew, as well as him and Brandon Ingram, he's a guy that works hard. Lonzo Ball has put in the work. He didn't transform that shot by not putting in the work. So if he's behind the scenes putting in the work, trying to do everything he needs to do to get his life right off the court, as well as putting in the work so he can be better on the court, I don't think he can do anything but help him coming into the next season.
I think it's a positive sign. They're taking their financial futures in their hand. They have an opportunity. They see themselves as a brand. It's a smart move. And then to kind of back you up on the deal, this is coming from Bleacher Report, by the way. Financial deals of the agreement are unknown in December. NBL analyst Corey Williams reported Ball received an offer of $100 million. The contract will make him the first Ball brother to sign a deal with the company outside of the family's Big Baller brand. That came from Bleacher Report. So DC was on point with that. I heard about him doing that. I just didn't know the money was that astronomical, man. So that's a big deal. They expected him to do really big things in the NBA. All right, let's move on from the Ball family to Zion Williamson talk. All right, NBA. Zion Williamson hit the NBA All-Rookie First Team. Him and Ja Morant end up in the same place. Now, a lot of people, figured I thought it was interesting his year, and I would like to have seen Zion a little bit more. We had him bubble wrap toward the back end of the year, and it was sad. But the Memphis Grizzlies phenom Ja Morant, the 2020 NBA Rookie of the Year, was a unanimous selection to the NBA's All-Rookie First Team as the league announced both of its All-Rookie teams Tuesday night ahead of the start of the Eastern Conference Finals. Morant, who finished with about 18 points per game and about 7.5 assists a game for the Grizzlies, brought them to the brink of the playoffs. He was pretty outstanding. He was the number 2 guy out of the draft from Murray State. He was known as the point god, as he termed himself. But joining Morant on the first team are Morant's teammates Brandon Clark, Miami Heat guard Kendrick Nunn, New Orleans Pelicans forward Zion Williamson, Golden State Warrior forward Eric Paschall. All-rookie second team includes Tyler Hero, who's, y'all telling you, this guy, like I told people about Wonder Boy. They call it Luka Doncic. When people didn't know who he was, I warned them about him, told them about him. DC was one of them cats. Tyler Hero is the same dude I'm going to put y'all on notice about. This kid can play, man. He could play. Toronto guard Terrence Davis is another one. Chicago guard Kobe White. Charlotte Hornets forward P.J. Washington. And Washington Wizards forward Rai Hachimura. Because of the changes to the league's calendar, because of the ongoing C-19 pandemic, there's not a season-ending award show this year. Instead, the league has reverted back to its old format of handing out awards periodically throughout the playoffs. Only 2 honors are left to be handed out. That's the All-NBA teams and the league's Most Valuable Player award. So those are the reports there. And, of course, let's get to our final report, family. And that is covering the article from the Pelican Debrief, which says the New Orleans Pelicans leading candidate for the head coaching race is, are you ready? Mike D'Antoni. How about that? We can't get away from these
How
guys.
shocking.
Man. We can't get away from these freaking guys, man. We got rid of Elvin Gentry, and you're going to come and get Elvin Gentry Ultra Instinct. It's just absolutely insane. New reports are suggesting that D'Antoni will become the head coach of the New Orleans Pelicans. I don't know which reports they're citing. They're citing several tweets from people like Kevin O'Connor, who's an NBA player, says no surprise here that D'Antoni isn't going back to Houston. There have been rumblings for weeks that he could be headed to the Pelicans. I hope not. Here it comes as soon as the Houston Rockets were eliminated at the hands of the Lakers. NBA insider Adrian Wojnarowski began reporting that Mike D'Antoni is parting ways with the Rockets. Instantly after that report, the Ringer's Kevin O'Connor stated the speculation that he's headed toward New Orleans. Of course, now I will say nothing is official, but O'Connor is another plugged-in insider. If he's hearing the speculation, he's hearing it from people in the league. That doesn't sit well with me because I don't like the idea of Pelicans hiring D'Antoni. In fact, it's the start of the team's coaching search. I wrote that I thought hiring D'Antoni is a bad for the Pelicans. It's still available if you want to check it out. So in the meantime, I'm objective about D'Antoni if he's the coach. The Pelicans hire outside of my personal feelings. I see the Pelicans consider D'Antoni an attractive candidate. The main reason the Pelicans and D'Antoni are so tightly connected for now has to do with D'Antoni's relationship with team vice president David Griffin. For those of you who don't know, Griffin worked in Phoenix organization when D'Antoni was there, and a lot of people believe that the connection is playing a factor. Listen, even though Griffin is the vice president, remember, the general manager is the guy that's supposed to pick his coach. It's the GM. Let the GM pick it. GM, now remember, who's your GM? Tranger Langdon. Langdon's connection is not with this guy, with D'Antoni. That is Griffin's job. And we covered the last show. We talked about Langdon, looking at another position with Sacramento. He didn't take the position with Sacramento. How you looking at another GM position when you already have a GM position? Unless something is amiss in the upper layers of the organization, meaning that Griffin is too hands-on. He needs to step back and let the GM do his job. We talked about that before any of this thing was a thing, didn't we? We covered this before any of this was a thing. We talked about how unhealthy it is for Griffin to be seen as much as it was. I'm like, where's Langdon at? Well, you seen what happened. And, of course, we tied in the last show and told you that Langdon's guy is Will Weaver. He likes him a lot. They won a G League championship together. If relationships are anything, that could be something you look at. Now, there are literally dozens of candidates from any spectrum of the coaching force that you want to look at. I mean, if you want an older coach, there are guys like that that's out there. If you want a guy that's a foundation building guy, there's guys like that, Mark Jackson. DC, if you needed a coach, this is the perfect year to look for him, to be honest with you, man. I mean, you have there's Mark Jackson, there's Billy Donovan, there's Nate McMillan. I mean, they're younger coaches like Will Weaver and the rest of these guys. But looking at the speculation of D'Antoni, I would say he will bring an up-tempo style of ball, but it'll be the same frustrating ass small ball stuff that Elvin Gentry was trying to run, where he purposefully goes to small ball. Look what happened with Houston against the Lakers, man. For goodness sake. The dude, it just would not adjust it. That's why he keeps getting loose. He gets to the point, and you might get your team into the second round, but then the guy does not make the adjustments necessary to make sure your team is successful. We cannot have D'Antoni. He's a one-sided coach, an offensive guy. We need a Billy Donovan type down here that teach principles, that are balanced principles, that's a disciplinarian. This guy is not the right guy. He's the same as Elvin Gentry. No, actually, he's better than he's way better than Elvin Gentry. He's what Elvin Gentry was trying to be. But look, I don't care if he's better than Elvin Gentry or not. This is the wrong guy this is absolutely the wrong type of coach. And if Griffin's making a hire, of course he's looking at this dude. But if this is Langdon's team, and we knew they had a falling out, DC, because there was an arrangement made where he stayed, he could have left. So he stays. Right. So it's his call for the GM. What's your thought on this?
So that means there's somewhere that he obviously wants to go. And thinking about it, if I'm Mike D'Antoni, coming from what I came from in Houston, and leaving those two phenomenal players to try to, obviously, I'm sure he wants to win a title. I don't think it's us. A team like Philly would make more sense to me. A team like maybe even Indiana. Like we ain't been in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if
I don't
he's
think
leaving Houston to come to New Orleans.
I
It
don't
makes
think
sense
D'Antoni
with
is
the
sought out as you thinking
connections.
though, DC.
Huh?
I don't think D'Antoni is as sought out as you thinking. This could very well be the last coaching opportunity he'll get. Seriously, I mean, Philadelphia's not looking at him; they're looking at Tyronn Lue. You have Billy
I
Donovan
think
and
I
Nate
think
McMillan and the rest, and Mark Jackson. These guys are way better than an old D'Antoni who has a reputation of failing in the playoffs. So
right,
I don't think he
but I
gets an
think I
opportunity
think
nowhere else.
a situation where the team is naturally built bigger. Like a guy like Ben Simmons, you want to run small ball with Ben Simmons, like you got a point guard that could guard your center. You know what I'm saying? So it's certain teams the way they're formulating things that could kind of benefit D'Antoni's style. D'Antoni is not the only person, but he's one of the more prominent figures of this whole small ball positionless basketball thing we got going on. He took it to the extreme, and in some cases, in my opinion, went maybe a little too far. That's why he ain't been successful. But that Phoenix team, man, that he had and what they orchestrated, if it wasn't for the Lakers, I think they would have won a championship. But outside of that, everywhere else he went, it's usually been a playoff appearance and fizzling out once you get there. Good guy if you want to make the playoffs, bad coach to win a championship. I'm not so sure the Pelicans, like I just don't make sense for me for them to be honing in on him when our Achilles heel is obviously our defense. We need to become more balanced, not hype up the offense even more. But
Yep.
the Houston team, they actually weren't bad defensively. They just was too damn small when they came up to teams that didn't that were able to exploit that, through matchups like Andy Davis did against them. But a lot of other teams, man, they ran them out the building with that small ball. Even though I've seen where it can be effective, I'm not crazy about it. I like the idea of Zion as a small ball center, but outside of that, I don't want to see like four guards out there and everybody standing on the perimeter shooting while Brandon Ingram dribbles and turns into James Harden.
And I'm definitely against it. I think it's a stupid idea. I think once again you try to give us another advanced age coach with a young team, and of course the small ball stuff. It's exciting and it's fun to watch, but it gets tiresome after a while because you can't get past the teams that know how to adjust against that. And you look at what Houston did and several other teams that stopped the Rockets in their tracks. Now, remember, the Rockets almost came close a season or so ago when they had Chris Paul at the helm. And he
Clay
ultimately.
Capella.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You trade away Clinton Capella, who was made for this. But you got to have a guy that's fast enough to not only play in that system, but he's totally dedicated to the defensive end. Doesn't look for anything. Any points that Clint Capella gets, he gets on his own. There are no plays ran for him, unless you have James Harden, who had a relationship with Harden with the Capella, where he'll roll off and then he'll toss up alley oops to him, for him to be able to get alley oops from him. And I know he did that a lot. But that was when you got rid of Clint Capella. It would have probably made the series a lot more interesting if Capella was there. But, like I said, he doesn't look for his own shot. And James Harden would get him involved by throwing him alley-oops off the give and go. So it's a lot, man, to look at with that ball. But anyway, D'Antoni is absolutely not the dude that you want here. I mean, there are so many fantastic coaches that you can look at, that you can bring in here. Mark Jackson is at the top of my list. Also like Nate McMillan. I also, like Kenny Atkinson. I also like several other really excellent coaches, which I think, like, if you're not looking for a Mark Jackson swinging for the fences, you're looking for a Snyder type, a Quinn Snyder type who's a Utah Jazz coach, who's a damn good coach, or a Brendan Malone type who's the Denver Nuggets coach. They have plenty of those type of coaches that hadn't made a name. And remember, before there was the Dallas coach, which was what's his name, DC? What's the Dallas coach?
Rick Carlisle.
Carlisle. Remember, Carlisle was up in Detroit before he made his bones, and then he came down to Dallas, and he was a Quinn Snyder. He was a Rick Elderman. He was a Terry Stotts before he won the championship and pushed his team up there. Look out for Carlisle. He had a pretty interesting team as well, building toward the future. But, man, let me tell you something. There are a bevy of excellent coaches out there, from experienced guys like Mark Jackson, Nate McMillan. There are guys like Billy Donovan, who opted out of his deal with the OKC Thunder. He's probably looking for a better team that he can get with. Could you imagine Billy Donovan as the coach of the Pelicans and teaching those principles to a young Zobal and Ingram, and then we'll have the direction. So I just feel really good. If you can land a Billy Donovan, who's a champion out of he came out of college with back-to-back championships with Florida.
Yeah, Nokim Jor and
Al
Horford.
Al Horford was
Horford.
all that. So, so that's what I'm saying, man. This guy knows how to coach. He took that OKC Thunder team many people thought wasn't going to make the playoffs, including myself, and turned them into a 44 game winning season, and took them into and they had a very interesting playoffs as well. More than I could say about our Pelicans, but that's what good coaching gives to you, a guy that knows how to coach. But this article about D'Antoni, man, absolutely not. You're going up the same street you was going up when you had El Gentry down here. So absolutely not. The sky's the limit for this team, and we need a coach that can go up there. So that'll do it for the show, man. I appreciate all the family members for chiming in on Pelican Post Game Report. Another Friday show. Saturday. I'm all over the place. Another Friday show. Another Friday show in the books. I'd like to thank all of our fantastic people for joining us in the live stream tonight. Please hit the like button. Please feel free to share the show links on your social media. So from me and DC, thank you for joining us. We'll be back next Friday on the Pelican Post Game Report. Peace out. Y'all be safe.
Are you a Pelicans fan? Check out the Pelican Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network.
The Kleins family has been getting people to go nuts for old nuts since 1995. As legends have it, a number of the Kleins friends who heard the idea said you can go nuts trying to name a store like that. In the excitement, the Kleins thought their friends said old nuts instead of go nuts and proceeded to throw caution to the wind. Old Nuts has over 2,000 items, bulk and wholesale prices of a whole lot of your favorite fruits, nuts, and confessions, a selection of gift baskets for any budget, any occasion, and provides one of the best and impressively rated shopping experiences on the web. Fact is, between their selection, service, speed, or their online presence and the virtual mirror retail experience, they have developed an enviable client base that's comprised of personal and professional customers who count on their remarkable range of gift baskets. Think of gift basket, think about Old Nuts. Check them out, oldnuts.com. Check the link in the description section below.